But what I wanted to do was, I started off thinking, I wonder now if AI is any good yet, because I've tried it a few times, and every single time I've just thought, I'm teaching you. This is bollocks. This is the shittest thing I've ever used, because like it just endlessly feeds you wrong information, and then you say, yeah, that's not right. This is like, you know, what is commonly known. This is what, and it goes, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry about that. And every time you ask it anything, that would be the response. So it's like, there's no point in talking to you if you're just going to feed me wrong information endlessly. Like, so yeah, for the last, right up until this weekend, basically, or last weekend, I had just given up on AI entirely. But then I started, I heard all about Grok. This is Elon Musk, whatever you think of him. It's fucking clever. But yeah, I heard about Grok, and it says it will converse with you at a PhD level on any subject. I thought, all right, well, I'll give that a try and see if that's true. And so I started asking it some questions, going through some stuff, and I was like, fucking hell, this thing actually is incredibly clever. You know, like, it seems to be able to sift through a vast amount more information than anything else, and then present it in a much better way. I mean, try it yourself. It's quite incredible. You want to learn anything about anything, really. It's quite remarkable. You do have to still pull it up if you notice things that it isn't quite deadly accurate on, because I still think it's trying to pull information from like Wikipedia or places like that, and that is the problem. Is that, yeah, it's coming again back to, I have to go all the way back to an original source, and then you see what has been extrapolated from that original source, and then that gets written down, and then AI uses that as fact. And it's not, it's like a, you know, like Ham in Wiltshire, it doesn't say that. Athelstan was crowned king in Kingston by Thames, it doesn't say that, it says just in Kingston. Or there are so many, the Battle of Ringmere was in like Gloucester or something, it's like, it doesn't say that, it just says Ringmere. The Battle of Ashdown was somewhere else other than Ashdown Forest, it doesn't say that. The Battle of Heathfield wasn't in Heathfield, it was somewhere else. So, you know, the actual documents don't say those things. And it's highly irritating because just someone's extrapolated that, written it down, suddenly it's become fact for everything. So you have to understand that the data that's been plugged into it can also be flawed. But I basically started going through all of the points, you know, the documents and the etymological characters that match up with Anglo-Saxon English. So I explained, these are those people, you know, what are the chances that those etymological matches work so well in one period across 15 characters that are alive in the same zone at one period of time. It's just, yeah, it just seems to me just like clearly that is too improbable for it to be, you know, impossible. But that, and then I started talking about all the charters and all the references to Beowulf and Grendel, the history of mourning, all of these different things. And I said, now can you give me the arguments for why academics of today think it occurred in Sweden? It was great, so it came up with very little. You know, even if you read the Claver version, there's a lot of words with not much substance. You know, it talks about kind of a lot of possibilities that don't actually relate to anything real. So anyway, so I said, now we've got those arguments and my arguments, can we put it through a probability test? Who is right? Who is more likely to be right, given the evidence I've provided now, like all of those charters, all of those people, all of those place names, all of those battles, all of the fact that it's all in historical documents in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle and in further documents out there. You take that against yours, what's the probability that my version is right? 99% I'm correct, according to an AI probability calculator. He gave it some sort of scale name I'd never even heard of. But anyway, that kind of like made me think, okay, right, well, so really, I've got everything I need. It's just about trying to portray that now and get through dogma, really. It's like, you know, it's going to be dogma now. Like, people are so set in their fucking ways, as I've seen so many times. Yeah, it's like, it's frightening how wrong they've got it. I mean, it really is. So, especially given all the evidence and the fact that if they had just even studied Anglo-Saxon history, or they read the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, these are the professors, they'd have noticed it too. This is what pisses me off. It's like, how have you not noticed that Beowulf and Wiglaf are real Anglo-Saxon Chronicle characters that come exactly the same time, and that there's a Beowulf and a Wiglaf in the Beowulf story, and then all the characters that surround them have names that just happen to match exactly, etymologically exactly, but perhaps from a Danish perspective, you know, like it's kind of random. I can't get my head around how that's been so badly misconstrued. It kind of makes me almost feel this half of my problem is it's like, has this been done on purpose? There's so much evidence to state that Beowulf was a Geat in England, that Geatland was it's like a southern province of the Geats, a southern province in England of the Geats, and yeah, I mean, I suppose that might be quite complicated, but I do feel like dogma takes hold. One person makes a theory, they start getting a bit of traction with it. This has happened over like hundreds of years, and you know, like then no one is willing to challenge it and say, like, you know, what about these people that are in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle that sound identical to the characters in no one's been brave enough to say it. But then I've noticed that the world is just full of cowards. It's full of people who just go along to get along. I've witnessed this over the last 5 years. You know, they're not willing to question anything. Well, don't question that. No, don't question that. That would be stupid, wouldn't it? Because, you know, people in authority are always right. Yeah, that worked out well for you, didn't it? Anyway, yeah, I've got to kind of try and get through the herd mentality of these people, or just I'm bypassing it now. So I'm writing articles that show us all of this, and then I'm doing the talks, and that's going to really be the kind of like beginning of putting the nails in the coffin of the dogma. It just can't be ignored then, and then I'll put a video up of the talk, and it's a lot of what's going to be in this article, which I'm going to pump out to as many places as possible. It's just like scientifically verifiable. That's the point. Like, how can I make this scientifically verifiable that all of these facts are more important than the nun that say it's in Sweden? Oh dear. But yeah, it's been quite useful. So yeah, if you're you know, like I say, beware the information that AI is using. But if you want a tool that actually works, try Grok. It is quite remarkable. It took my brain like quite a lot of time to even process what he was saying, you know, and I was like, oh my god, like I've got to learn about this thing now that it's going on about, and you know. Yeah, coming at all of this from sort of like a layman background, been very helpful, I think, you know, because I haven't been filled with the dogma that I would have done had I gone to university. But yeah, it's not quite as rewarding, perhaps.